There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. You are God from beginning to the end.
Malawi, umbe. Malawi, umbe. Zoma na zatu zomwezi. Maonekera tundomwewa. Koma pempa indinani. Apempa indi Mungu. Maonekera tundomwewa. Koma mawu amene apempa ndi Yehova. Katika ngati wayakula tiri njira. Kwa kufunika china chake chichitike, anzeru achite cha chilendo chimene Bible amachita na Israeli. Ama mtu opoza Yehova. Ama gwada pansi kulia kwa Yehova mwe mutichosele chichi. Ndijira kwayo basi. Osa ni makani uta kamba dosa samba. Leo tika dosa samba jonji. Koma Yehova tiamfula tikuza zimene zikutangoli. Sikwe. Ananena kosa jere okuti Mwafrika mapresident azingolofa. Ndikuona so winaso. Siama ila wini kosa jere. Ndikuona so winaso. Ndikuona wina. Koma bajina yake chimene ndada wanacho. Ndikuona ziko lina asikali so kuliranda. Ziko lina ndikuona so asikali kuliranda. Afrika. Africa.
Special Forces soldiers apparently ousted Guinea's long-serving President Alpha Condé on Sunday, telling the West African nation they had dissolved its government and constitution and closed its land and air borders. As the United Nations and Nigeria, the region's dominant power, condemned any takeover by force, the elite army unit's head, Mamadi Doumbouya, said poverty and endemic corruption had driven his forces to remove Condé. We have dissolved government and institutions, Doumbouya said on state television, draped in Guinea's national flag and surrounded by 8 other armed soldiers. We are going to rewrite a constitution together. Gunfire erupted and fighting broke out near the presidential palace in the capital, Conakry, on Sunday morning. Hours later, videos shared on social media, which Reuters could not immediately authenticate, showed Condé in a room surrounded by Army Special Forces. Condé, whose whereabouts were not clear, won a 3rd term in October after changing the constitution to allow him to stand again. That led to violent protests from the opposition, and in recent weeks the government has sharply increased taxes to replenish state coffers and raised the price of fuel by 20%, causing widespread frustration. But United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said he strongly condemned any takeover of the government by force, and called for Condé's immediate release. Nigeria's foreign ministry said Guinea's apparent coup d'état violated Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, rules, and called for the restitution of constitutional order. Videos shared on social media had earlier shown military vehicles patrolling Conakry, and one military source said the only bridge connecting the mainland to the Colombe neighborhood, where the palace and most government ministries are located, had been sealed off. The rich were taunting U.S. In the capital, residents began venturing back onto the streets during the afternoon to celebrate the uprising's apparent success. A Reuters witness saw pickup trucks and military vehicles accompanied by motorcyclists honking their horns and cheering onlookers. "Guinea is free, bravo," a woman shouted from her balcony.
Not in his usual presidential attire. On this mobile phone video, the 83-year-old president appears disheveled. He's being detained by the country's special forces. Men meant to protect him now hold him in custody. One soldier asks him, "Have you been beaten or injured?" "No," he says. French President Macron accused Condé of grabbing power, with neighboring Senegal and Guinea-Bissau closing their borders, leaving the president increasingly isolated. Condé has been accused by critics of corruption and profiting from the mineral-rich country while leaving the citizens in poverty. Last week, Alpha Condé asked the parliament to raise the budget for the president while reducing budgets and wages of the civil servants and members of the security forces, stirring further discontent, especially among the ranks of the armed forces. The United Nations Secretary General has called for the immediate release of the president and condemned the takeover by security forces. The African Union and ECOWAS have also condemned the coup, with the West African bloc threatening sanctions if the elected government isn't reinstated. After 11 years in power and thwarting numerous coup attempts, Alpha Condé appears meek and humiliated, no longer in power, in a country in chaos faced with uncertainty. Nicholas Hawke, Al Jazeera.
Well, Ghanaian journalist Yusuf Barr sent us this update from Conakry.
Up to now, the president is in the hand of the special force. They've confirmed it, and they said the president is safe, and nothing is going to happen with the president. And they've asked all Guineans to go to work tomorrow, and they've asked all government authorities to report tomorrow at the parliament building. Anybody who refuses to go, they will take that person, they'll call that person a rebel, and this person will be arrested. Just now, military officials were telling us, talking to we, the journalists, around the national television tonight. In some areas, people are in the streets, still dancing, welcoming the military. And there is no military patrol in the streets. Nobody's patrolling the streets. They've asked everybody to go to work tomorrow. So if people go to work tomorrow, definitely 100% the military have succeeded. Everybody's in support of them. There came a time when Guineans were asking for change. Most of the Guineans were asking for change. So this is exactly what is happening.
Well, the UN Secretary General has tweeted about the coup in Guinea, saying, "I'm personally following the situation there very closely. I strongly condemn any takeover of the government by force of the gun and call for the immediate release of President Alpha Condé." Okwasi Osei is a professor of history and political science at Delaware University. He says citizens are backing Colonel Doumbouya.
Don't forget, Colonel Doumbouya is a Condé man. He was placed in charge of the special forces and specially trained to protect Condé. So sanctions or no sanctions, they would have to talk to him. And more importantly, they would have to take the measure of the country. And it is clear that it is a popular uprising, at least as of the moment.
Unknown to his compatriots when he first appeared on national television, Mamadi Doumbouya is described as discreet. Since 2018, the Lieutenant Colonel has headed Guinea's Special Forces, an elite unit that leads the fight against terrorism. It was created by the president he deposed, Alpha Condé. Draped with his country's flag, Doumbouya told France 24 he was committed to a smooth transition of power.
It's our duty to save the country and bring the Ghanaian people together. We will put a system in place for all of the people to come together, because a political system that is not inclusive is a system that is not based on peace.
Before leading the Special Forces, he served in the French Foreign Legion. He also trained at a senior military academy in Paris.
He is someone with a lot of experience. He led several operations in Afghanistan. We can say that he's ready to hit the ground running.
Observers say the success of the military coup can be explained by the significant number of opponents to the rule of President Condé in the ranks of the army and among the general population.
You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself.